because I think she's in the 11th standard.
10th standard.
10th standard. So this is understandable. But I would like to say just one thing. It's very much important to communicate effectively regarding all these things. That's why I just asked you to talk, because you are the people who can really communicate with emotion what's happening around the world regarding climate change. That's fine. Let us learn together how to communicate. Anybody have seen the film King's Speech? King's Speech. Anybody heard about that? Because it had won a lot of Academy Awards for the best screenplay, and it's still rated as one of the best screenplays of this century. Yeah,
I've
I'll
heard.
just
Yeah, I
yeah.
heard about it, but I have not seen though.
I think we should. That's not related to climate change. That's actually related to a king, King Edward the Eighth. I think eighth or sixth. I do have a bit confusion there. He was the king who led England during the Second World War. Everybody heard about Winston Churchill, the then Prime Minister of England. But whereas the King Edward, he was an accidental king actually. He is not supposed to be the king. Rather, his elder brother is supposed to be rather, he was the king. George the sixth, he was the king. But he abdicated his throne, and suddenly he became, at that time, he was the Duke of the York. He became the king. And his daughter Elizabeth later became the queen. And now we do have King Charles, who is the son of Elizabeth. So entire line of British monarchy changed because of this incident, because the abdication of the King George VI. Whoever is coming from India, they might have seen an old silver coin dated around 1940s, bearing the insignia of King George VI. It's made of pure silver as well as pure gold. Coming back to the King, Duke of York. This is one of the most fantastic films as a film, as a screenplay, and the theme is really inspiring
Is
because
it King's
the
Dream? Did you say that? King's Dream?
King's speech,
King's Speech. Okay.
and this is based on a true story, based on an actual story.
Okay.
The Duke of York, rather the second son of the king, the earlier king, happens to be a big. He can't speak fluently at all. With a lot of stammering. He will struggle to complete even a simple sentence because such acute stammering. So he don't want to be a king. He don't want to be in public life. He don't want to do anything at all. He just want to lead a simple life. But unfortunately, his elder brother abdicated the throne. That's a totally different story because of his love affair, his love to another lady, Mrs. Simpson. At that time, in the English monarchy, the monarchs cannot, the serving monarchs cannot divorce or cannot marry a divorced woman. So the King George VI preferred the woman he loved instead of the throne at that time. That's a totally different story. But coming back to our story, he's an extremely stammering person, and how he conquered, rather overcame all these challenges, became a fluent speaker, and how he led England through the Second World War through multiple occasions, through multiple inspiring speeches. How he led from the front. So the transformation from the extremely challenging person to a successful leader of the people is the theme of the film, King's Speech. I generally show that to the children because it's a really inspiring true story. Yep. One more thing is that I would like to take a personal note also. You may not have noticed. You may have already noticed that um, I do have a lot of challenges regarding speaking. I'm a acute. I do have a lot of stammering also, and learned a lot from that, and became more or less a fluent speaker through various efforts. I'm a born stammerer actually. Just coming back to the children, that it's very much important to speak fluently and effectively. Sorry for so it's there is no school to teach that. We have to try it out, use every opportunity, and experiment and improve ourselves. That's the way to improve our own communication skills. So seeking speech is very much important, I think. Sorry for the diversion. Back to you, Rajan. So I think one more person had seen the film. Can he or she recollect that? Is she is around here?
ഹലോ
Yeah.
ആ നമസ്കാരം സാർ. ഞാൻ കുറെ വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് മുമ്പ് കണ്ടതാണ്. അപ്പോ അതിൽ അദ്ദേഹം ആർജിച്ചെടുക്കുന്ന the confidence he earned and and then public ആയിട്ട് the speech he gave that inspired the country and all that. So ആ ഒരു point ആണ് like you said, I not the similar like stammering, but I feel like some sort of like that I have within me. I figured out and then gradually overcome. I cannot say fully overcame, but now I have the confidence at least to stay in front of people. And before it was because it was like do or die.
Yeah.
When I got a job as a trainer, as a coordinator, I had to train the teachers, preschool teachers and all that. So there was no choice, because when you sign up for that job, you have to do it. So like you said, maybe because of the opportunity, we overcome certain inhibitions and the self-doubt. That movie advanced from 0 to 10, like how so that is a great transformation, whether it's physically or verbally or whatever. Like this one focus more on verbal ability. Like it's a good movie. Long back I watched it. It's good.
I still have a huge. I knew which are the words that I'm going to stuck. So I always have a stock of alternate words. I have different vocabularies there, so that I can substitute certain words with easy words that I can speak. There are a lot of techniques to overcome this kind of challenges. Yeah. Anybody had seen the other film, our climate change related film, The Day After Tomorrow?
I watched that too, but let kids speak.
Yeah.
That would be better. Thank you.
Whoever had seen it, just speak it out of your own heart. It's not a mandatory or compulsory, just I want to hear your words. No need to compel anyone. I think it's back to Smita again.
I don't know if he left. We had one boy and a girl. So Anushka is still there.
And Arav is the boy, I think, but
I think Anna took a bathroom break. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No
Maybe
issue
we
at
can
all.
wait.
Or you can speak, I think.
Yeah, I think he's back. Okay. Can you
Oh.
hear Arav?
Yeah, we
Yep.
can. Yeah, we can hear Arav. Arav,
Yes.
can you just describe what you felt after seeing that film?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So whoever else watched it?
Mhm.
Smita, can you?
Yeah,
Smita,
ഞാൻ
where
movie
did you
കണ്ടു.
find that movie? Couldn't find it actually.
I think Netflix ആണോ യൂട്യൂബിലാണോ?
It's
Okay.
available
Yeah,
at both the places, not Netflix as well as YouTube.
Okay,
yeah,
we'll check.
Netflix ആണ് തോന്നുന്നു. Yeah, so the movie, it's a movie about surviving. Something like horrible happened to the people of New York. The boy was stuck, and it's like a journey of a father to bring the boy home. Something like that. I think it has been a month. Yeah, I have memory loss, the big time, but I think it's something. The plot is like a city, and it started snowing, and then within few hours, like a record snowing, and everything came to a halt. People got stuck. So this man, I think he is in the government rescue team or something. He knew that this is gonna happen, so he warned his boy, but I think many of them did not believe. So it's kind of the drastic change. What would happen? Same like a landslide, what happened in Wayanad. This is like something unimaginable and unexpected thing happens, and how you gonna survive. So being in education field, we always practice this earthquake drill and evacuation, and how you can survive for 2 3 days if the road or something break or come apart. You get stuck in schools and you end up with this many children, and how you gonna survive, what you gonna eat, what you gonna drink, if the electricity is cut because of a fire, like a issue or something that might happen. Transformer can break, it can cause fire or something. So everything will know, there won't be electricity, there won't be, sometimes water also get shut down because when earthquake happen, many of the things underground, it rupture, and that can cause like more disaster. So everything will be like cut, gas connection, everything. So most school has this evacuation plan, and being working at school, I'm very much aware of these things. So in a small way, I have collected things at my home as well, and then emergency kit and stuff like that. So when the Wayanad thing happened, I was same like many people. I was devastated. At the same time, I was thinking how we can reduce the death rate if something like this happen in the future. So that's what I was telling Raji also, like how we can we fundraise or tie up with a company. Like many people said they were using only the cell phone, the torch, like a flashlight. So instead of that, there is like a manual thing. Like here in the emergency kit, you get this manual thing. You can manually like a key kind of a thing. Winding the flashlight,
Yeah,
torch,
cranking one. Cranking.
cracking one.
Like,
So and the radio, the same way the radio also works. Actually, I gifted both to my brother-in-law who was like a biker. He's no more, but I gifted him. So things like that. So that's
Yeah.
some of my thought, how we can survive, how we can reduce the death
Yep,
rate. Yeah.
I think you have already witnessed what happened in the Carolinas during last 10 days.
Yeah.
Despite all the preparations, I think still we have not US agencies have not estimated the actual death toll.
Yeah, because it's high risk, and the people first always say save yourself first and then try to save the other
Yeah,
person. So
and then also I think we may need tens of billions of dollars for the reconstruction North Carolina, so on Carolinas only, especially that 4 counties in the North Carolina which was hit at the worst.
yeah.
Yeah, again, coming back to the thing, I think we can discuss about the film again after all of us, because if we discuss it right now, most of the others may lose the drive to see the film. But I'll tell you about just a few things. One is that all of our climate is more or less controlled by the ocean currents. I think you might have heard, you might have learned about ocean currents already. And as far as Northern America is concerned, Northern America and Europe is concerned, one particular stream, which is known as Gulf Stream, is the most critical. And even we name it as Gulf Stream, it's not a single stream. Multiple ocean currents combine to form this Gulf Stream. And in the Atlantic coast near Newfoundland in Canada, two of the streams are also hitting each other, Labrador and Gulf Stream. Labrador is a cold current stream, whereas Gulf current is a warm stream. And also, I suggest the children or all of us to learn more about AMNO, Atlantic Meridional Overturning Current. It's a big word. AMNO is a current which is starting from mid-Atlantic and flows northwards up to Greenland. This is a warm current. It stopped somewhere. Depending upon the climatic variations, it stopped once. Last time in history, around 12,000 years back. now we are afraid that it can. No, it's not a question. It's a question of afraid. Right now, we know that it can stop in the next 60 years. Even 60 years is a very optimistic estimate. Anywhere between 2025 and 2065, there is a probability for AMNO to stop. More than a dozen studies came during the last 6 months about the AMNO alone, and it do have serious implications for Northern American states. What we have seen in this film, but the film is the Day After Tomorrow was shot almost 10 years back, 10, 12 years back, I think. Some of the scenes in that film is going to depict the actual reality when this AMNO stops. It's only a matter of time. So I think it is better to see that film, and then we will again discuss. There are a lot of emotional, thrilling parts in that film, and also try to capture the science behind it. That's my suggestion. Shall we go to some of the science behind the climate change? Are you interested? If you are interested, I will go through some of the slides, maybe 5, 10 slides of an opening module about climate change. Some of the
Sounds good.
sounds good. Okay. So if there is a permission for me to share I think I may have. Let me, yeah. Can you see now a PowerPoint? Hello, Anushka or Smita or Raji,
yes.
can you see
Yes.
PowerPoint? Okay.
Yes, we can see.
So this is a kind of a module that we generally give for the children as well as teachers in the high school, higher secondary level. It's only a model. Actually, we do this PowerPoint just to evoke more questions. It's not generally I do this PowerPoint within 1 hour. Right now, I don't want to do it in 1 hour. We can just go through some slides. Whenever you feel that this is more than enough, let us raise the hand. We will stop at that point. So I think everybody knew about climate change. Whenever we speak with elderly people, they will always say that, is everybody comfortable with English, or can we switch over to Malayalam? Which one you prefer?
Maybe English for kids to understand better.
Yeah, I will do English. Both are comfortable. So whenever we speak to the elderly people, they will always tell us that the climate is different. Farmers, they will tell about climate change always. Not in the sense that we right now describe, but they will say the climate, the rains are different now. So this is a complaining which is happening whenever we have started written history. Then there is school textbooks is covering a lot of topics, media is covering. But the major question is that whether the problem is being remedied or aggravated. My assessment is that right now this is being aggravated. We are nowhere near the solution right now. Just my screen for a minute. So whenever we go to this thing, I think we should prepare for something. I'm referring to some of the books in initial reading material. We need not go through all these books right now. There are a lot of information in the net, Wikipedia, and also, but it's always a struggle to separate between truth and the real fact. It's extremely tough thing. I'll take some of the initial books. Even in some of these books, we are challenging theories. One is, I think I described it last time. That's Bill Bryson. He's a US author, right now settled more or less in Australia, I think. He had written a book, A Short History of Nearly Everything, one of the best sellers. And even Malay, and to have translated, I think, about 100 languages. It's even in Malayalam, it's selling like hotcakes. So Bill Bryson, A Short History of Nearly Everything. It's an extremely readable book. And Pranay Lal is a new generation Indian writer. He had written Indica. Indica is about the evolution, the history of Indian subcontinent. He is tracing at least last 1 billion years of Indian subcontinent. It's an authentic book. Whoever is planning to travel to India next season, and we do have a separate presentation touching the topics of Indica. It's available right now in hard copy. I just suggest people to buy a hard copy because it's a really reference book. And the material we are seeing in Indica is nowhere else. It's not at all easy to get the same material from some other source. Third is again a Pulitzer-winning American author, J.A. Diamond. He had two books I refer here. One is Collapse and another is Third Chimpanzee. Third Chimpanzee is basically about the evolution of human beings. I think you know already who are the third chimpanzees actually. There are pygmy chimpanzees, there are chimpanzees, and the third chimpanzee, if you want to look, it's better to look at a mirror. And the other book is Collapse. Collapse is about the societies which had ruled the earth during the last few millennia and subsequently collapsed. And all the theories are still continuously being challenged. Even regarding collapse, there is a story about Easter Island. I will come back to it later. Easter Island is an island in southern Pacific, which is really famous for its giant statues. And J.A. Diamond had proposed a theory about the collapse of the civilization of Easter Island. But as late as 14 days back, a new paper is published in US, which rather comprehensively challenged the theories put forward by J.A. Diamond. But still, I think it is worth reading how the climate and the environment changed the societies, supported them to become empires, and how all these empires collapsed. So it's an invaluable volume, Collapse as well as Third Chimpanzee. Then Clay Ponting is another author from the Western civilization. That's the New Green History of the World. Again, a collector's volume. I would like to caution you regarding this book. Again, the material is nowhere else. The way that Clay Ponting compiled all this information is unique. But after writing this book, he decided not to pursue academic research any further. He rather bought some orchards in Greece and settled there, tending his gardens. That's the last time we heard about him. Then there are films and documentaries. One is we already discussed, The Day After Tomorrow. Then the 11th Hour is a documentary actually produced by one of the Hollywood stars, the hero of Titanic. I think you already knew him. He had produced actually two documentaries. One is 11th Hour, which was released just before last US presidential election in 2016. And before the flood was is released, I think almost 10 years back. Both of them are very good documentaries. Then there is Google Earth and Google Map. I separate these two things. Google Earth is a desktop application, whereas Google Map is the phone, the map we are generally seeing in the phone. Google Earth is a tremendous resource. Google Map is very much user friendly, but I think we should also learn how to use Google Earth. Then the media, and there is a big question: whom to trust? Since you are in US, you can easily understand between Fox News and CNN, or between Guardian and Washington Post. So the whom to trust is a big question. So we always do. One is triangulating. We generally search for the fact from multiple sources before saying anything at all. So at least whatever I am trying to say, I have read, spoken, or referenced with at least 4 or 5 sources. Then only I'm confident enough to tell about in public. That's why the way triangulating, we can't trust just one source only right now. Then the ways of science. Science is always fact-based. Always we can say that a lot of fictional things, and generally that's prevalent in social media and as well as mainstream media. So how to approach all these things with the way of science, fact-based. So my suggestion right now is to have the list of all these books, these documentaries. I can add more films, more books, but let us collect either soft copies or hard copies of these books or films. And I'm not actually advocating piracy, but all these books are also available free of cost. There is a website based in Kazakhstan which is giving out the copies of almost all of the published material free of cost, because they don't apply the IPR, intellectual property rights are different in Kazakhstan. So they are hosting this, that's known as Library Genesis. Almost all of the books, media public, whatever public, if something is available in printed format, I think, and somebody might have uploaded it in Library Genesis. So all these books are available there. So this is a kind of a resource that we have to use. So these are the two books. New Green. Yeah.
So Vinod sir, what's the website for this Kazakhstan?
That's LibGen is the short. Thank you for stopping me in video. So you can ask questions whenever you want.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, because I
this
lose
is
track and it's hard to remember at the end of
this Library Genesis, LibGen is the website, and you have to make a few trials to search for the right kind of book there. I mean, searching itself is a bit complex, but you Google for Library Genesis or LibGen, short form, LIBGEN, LibGen.
And here US also, our libraries are connected to many universities, so I'm sure we have many books and resources.
But what I'm trying to tell is that you have to pay certain. See, when you are becoming researchers are the research papers are available through researchers in multiple sources. I'm a researcher and I have access to multiple sources. But when it comes to books, actually, it's either you have to pay in Amazon or you have to buy. This is a third choice I'm suggesting. I'm not insisting people to use it, but I think such an avenue is available. Whatever books published in the world so far is available. It's not a simple thing, actually. The next is about there are the other two books also, Indica by Pranay Lal and Bill Bryson, and then Clive Polding. Coming back to Earth's history a bit. We always forget or rather we always fail to build a perspective regarding the age of the Earth. Actually, it is 4.6 billion years old.
Vinod sir, are you trying to share the screen?
I'm trying to share that. That's sorry, anything happened
right
to that?
now, right now we are seeing, I think, your desktop. We're not seeing the screen. Only the first page was shown. After
right now?
That, yes, now we can see. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think most of the names we are trying to get from what you are speaking and not from the screen. Okay.
Have you seen this one?
Yes, now we can see.
This is I'm sorry. You could have stopped me in between.
Also, no, we didn't know. I was not sure if you were just speaking.
Because I'm using 3 screens actually, so I'm always a bit confused which you are actually seeing.
Now we can see.
Yeah, it says searching for truth.
Bill Bryson, Short History of Nearly Everything, Pranay Lal, Indica, Giant Diamond, Collapse, and Third Chimpanzee. Third Chimpanzee, I think it is an essential for people who want to know about biology. Actually, biology, the way that we study, the way that we learn, I don't think it's not the right kind of approach. Then the Clive Polding, The New Green History of the World. The documentaries, 11th Hour by Prita, can you help me? I forget that. Slipping that name. Hero of Titanic. The actor who Titanic hero actor. I have to Google it. Sometimes I slip certain names nowadays.
DiCaprio.
Sorry. So 11th Hour and Before the Flood was produced by DiCaprio, rather also anchored by him. 11th Hour was released in 2016 because he released it with the hope that he can rather influence some of the voters regarding Trump. But he failed. Before the Flood was published, it's almost, I think it was somewhere in 2011, 2012. Then I spoke about Google Earth. It's a desktop application. Kindly download and have it and try to. And there are not enough good manuals to teach you how to use Google Earth. But I think I'll always fall back onto Google Earth for a lot of solutions and a lot of understanding also. Then I spoke about media, triangulating, and the waste of the science. So these are the initial set of books and films I would like to. Whoever is serious about climate change, they have to at least collect these books. Read certain chapters. I'm not asking you to read from cover to cover, even though I did it. So whenever you feel you can leaf through certain pages, you can get a perspective of about certain things.
So triangulating or a book no?
No, triangulating is the way that we should approach all these things because it's so many information is available, and many of them are confusing and contradicting to each other. So how to identify the truth about all these things?
Triangulating is a concept.
It's a concept.
Concept.
Okay. Shall I move to the next slide?
Sure. Yeah, കുട്ടികളാണ് ട്ടോ. They have to decide. I'm just here to.
I can share this PowerPoint also because it's very heavy because it's having more than 100 slides. But whatever slides right now I'm showing, I can share it in the group also. There's no need to write or try to memorize all these things. So I'm trying to talk about the history of the Earth a bit, just in few words. Background, you can see the title of the remaining 3 books, The New Green History of the World, Bill Bryson's Short History of Nearly Everything, and Pranay Lal's Indica. And on the left side is a small thing about Earth's little history. Earth is 4.6 billion years old. And human beings, as per the best estimate, it is 5 million years old. And the conservative estimate is 3 million years old. I mean, the human beings separated from our best cousins, that's the chimpanzees, around 3 million years back. So this is if you want to put it in perspective, how old are human beings? And in this, if you take this 4.6 billion years, you can see a continuous change in the level of oxygen available in the atmosphere, the temperature of the atmosphere, even the constitution of the atmosphere in a larger sense, the level of oxygen, the temperature levels, availability of water, different life forms, all these changed multiple times during the last 4.6 billion years. And we also have most of the time we were either the Earth was full of spewing volcanoes and acid rains or glacial ages. We are getting extremely small windows, which is conducive to the kind of life that we are seeing right now. So this is to get a perspective how lucky or how fortunate we are to live in such an epoch. This is the kind of perspective we generally miss when we talk about the climate change. And the evolution of human beings is also quite interesting. I think you might have seen a lot of dogs. If you differentiate the genetic material between the 2 dogs, the difference will be somewhere in 2% of the DNA. If you take between say a Labrador and an Alsatian or a Shepherd, the difference in genetic DNA is around 2%. Anybody knew the difference in genetic material between us and the chimpanzees? Any guess?
1%.
Not even 1%.
Yeah. Point
It's
something.
it's points. It's a fraction percentage. So when the dogs look at us, they can't differentiate between human beings and chimpanzees because we are very much similar. That's a quite funny thing. I'll come back to it at some other later time. So shall I move to the next slide? this is about the level of temperature and carbon dioxide during the last. You have to count those years. Rather, we drilled through the ice core, Vostok ice core in Antarctica, and from there we gathered this information. And whatever you are seeing, the initial scenes in the film, it's about drilling a ice core in Antarctica in the day after tomorrow. He's a paleoclimate. The lead actor is a paleoclimate scientist, actually. So the green, rather the blue line is describing the temperature in Earth's surface, and the red spots are the carbon dioxide levels. Right now, if you watch, we are having a temperature of between 26 and 27. This is the average, rather the mean temperature of the Earth right now. And this happened only during the last 12,000 years. Even 15,000 years back, we were living in a glacial age. It was really tough to survive at that time. So just try to capture the right amount of oxygen as well as the right amount of the climate we were having right now. It's a literally transient phenomenon. If you look at the Earth's last 4.6 billion years, the data is from a US organization, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The horizontal axis is covering about the years. On the left side, you can see the temperature, and the right side you can see the atmospheric concentration ppm. And this is about I told you that the last ice age was here until 12,000 years back. So all the civilization that we know, that we very much boast of, started 12,000 years back, after the retreat of the last ice age. In this slide, we can see, this is a picture of the Arctic North Pole from the top. So this is a different kind of a projection. We are looking at the Arctic Ocean from the top of it. So you can see the 12,000 years back, what was the ice cover between Arctic Ocean and entire United States, or part of the United States everything was under an ice sheet, as well as part of the Europe. All this right now of the last ice age ice sheets, we are having only the remnants right now in Greenland only. So this was here. This was just 12,000 years before this was the picture. And that was, again, I'm repeating it, that was during a very small window in the Earth's history. So again, we are going to the climate swings of the last 12,000 years. On the horizontal axis, we do have years in thousands. On the left-hand side, you can see the temperature. And all these curves, the red and blue curves are showing the temperature. If you look at the Roman climate optimum, that's the period of the peak of the Roman Empire. And there is a warm medieval period. And there is a little ice age, even the last little ice age was in the 1400s. At that time, most of the empires in the Earth collapsed. And right now, we are again living through one of the very comfortable climatic periods, even if you take the last 12,000 years. Again, if you look at the history, one is on the right-hand side, you can see the entire 4.6 billion years. This I have taken from the internet. All these ages. These are the two Latin names. It is very, very difficult to remember all these things. Even for the pro people, unless you are teaching this in everyday class, it's difficult to remember. But just look at two things. There are two big extinction periods. There is a gigantic extinction, TP, and there is a big extinction, TK. And TK happened rather the midpoint was 65 million years. Between 60 and 68 million years ago, there was a big extinction. And before that, there was a gigantic extinction. So we are sitting on top of all these people who already ruled the world for millions of years, hundreds of millions of years. And we are our own experience is limited to only thousands of years, actually. We will come back to this again if you are interested. So I told you on the left side, I told you about the last ice age that was ended around 12,000 years back. Even during the last 2,000 years, we have small little ice ages. And these are the few words that we have to learn. What is causing all these ice ages? One is the atmospheric content. Second is the Earth's movement. Third is solar activity. Then there is supervolcanic activity. Then there is meteorites. If you take the big extinction which has happened around 65 million years ago, actually two issues come on it. One is multiple meteorites slammed into Earth. One is near to Mexico. And another was that Indian subcontinent was a part of Africa around 100 million years back. That Indian subcontinent started its journey towards Eurasian plate around 88 million years back, and it reached its current position around 13 million years back. In between, it hit a area which is now right now. If you look at the Indian Ocean, you can see the Mauritian Islands, or you just search for a Reunion Island. Actually, right now Reunion Island is a very small island with some of the heaviest rainfalls on Earth. But earlier it was the top of a supervolcano. So during the traverse of Indian subcontinent from the African coast to the Eurasian coast, this Indian plate hit on this Reunion volcano, and it caused a volcanic activity which lasted almost 4 million years. That is 40 lakh.
സാറേ ഒരു കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞോട്ടെ, നമ്മുടെ
പറയൂ.
കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഇവർക്ക് തറവായിട്ട് ജിയോഗ്രഫി അതുപോലെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ, എൻവയോൺമെന്റൽ സയൻസ് പലരും ഇപ്പോൾ 10th 11th പഠിക്കുന്നുണ്ടാവും ഡീപ്പായിട്ട്. അപ്പോൾ ഇവർക്ക് എത്രത്തോളം അറിയാമെന്ന് ഒന്ന് അന്വേഷിച്ചതിന് ശേഷം നമ്മൾക്ക് മുന്നോട്ട് പോവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് കുറച്ച് സമയം ലാഭിക്കുമായിരുന്നു.
Definitely you can ask, but what I am seeing right now, the hitting of Indian Ocean, Indian plate in the Reunion, you search it, identify it somewhere else. You can ask the children also. Why I am doing this? Because whenever there are two things you have to be always cautious whenever we speak to children and schools. Right now, speaking what is not in the textbooks, what is not in the internet. Generally, that's the kind of way that we develop things.
Okay.
Still, you are welcome. You can ask the children.
ഓക്കെ. അല്ല, ഞാൻ ആസ് എ പാർട്ടിസിപ്പന്റ് ആണ്, എന്നാലും ഞാൻ സമയത്തിന്റെ പരിധി ഉള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞെന്ന് മാത്രം. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് ഇറ്റ്സ് എ ക്രൂഷ്യൽ തിങ് ലൈക്ക് സാറിന്റെ പ്രസന്റേഷനിൽ ഇത് ഒത്തിരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടന്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഭാഗമാണെങ്കിൽ യു ക്യാൻ, ഐ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ്, ക്യാൻ ഗോ ഹെഡ്. പക്ഷെ ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഡോക്യുമെന്ററി ആ ഒരു ഇതിൽ ഞാൻ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്, അറിഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു നമ്മുടെ ഇവിടുത്തെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ചിലപ്പോ എന്നേലൊക്കെ ഒത്തിരി അറിവുണ്ടായിരിക്കും.
Yeah, that's a welcome suggestion. Nothing negative regarding that. You ask them. See, people knew about the supervolcano in Yellowstone. Everybody knew. Anybody heard about this Reunion volcanic event which lasted 4 million years?
Hello, കുട്ടികളെ. Hello, students. Can you please give your, share your knowledge on this topic?
I did not know.
Let me see.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anybody heard about this Milankovitch cycles?
No.
Milankovitch.
I haven't.
Yeah. You just Google it. I'm just now. I'm not at all. I'm coming back to you, Smita, again. I'm still not describing the whole thing. Rather, I'm just flagging these things. My suggestion is that all of us should at least familiarize with these terms, Google it, search it, and identify what. I'm not at all trying to explain Milankovitch cycle right now. I'm not at all trying to explain how this reunion volcanic activity changed Earth's climate. I'm just flagging that such an event happened, lasted 40 million years, which had changed a lot of things in the Earth, as we say right now. So it's for you to further search it. That's the kind of way that I approach things, right?
Okay, good to know.
Yeah. So Milankovitch cycle is a very complex thing, and it is actually very much detrimental regarding the Earth's climate as we see right now. But none of our climate science people will discuss about this.
Very, okay.
Okay. So there is, I'll be, yeah, then I'll just going back to even all these things, even though I have taken these slides from the net, I think I read about it, then I have to search a lot just to identify this right kind of thing. Again, I'll be concluding with one more PowerPoint, two more slides or three more slides. Then we will go back to the discussion, right? Is it boring to you or is it interesting?
For me, it's interesting because എനിക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള സബ്ജക്റ്റ് ഇഷ്ടമാണ്. എൻ്റെ മകന് ഒത്തിരി ഇഷ്ടമായിരുന്നു ഇങ്ങനത്തെ. അപ്പൊ അവന്റെ കൂടെ ഇരുന്ന് കുറെ ഡോക്യുമെന്ററി അങ്ങനെയുള്ള ചാനലുകളൊക്കെ മുമ്പ് കാണുമായിരുന്നു. എനിക്ക് ഇഷ്ടമാണ്. ഞാൻ കുട്ടികളുടെ കാര്യം എനിക്ക് അറിയില്ല. How they take it. I think they like it. That's why they joined you. So of course.
We have to experiment. Is there any other way to design all these things? Yeah. Again, this is another thing that we generally forget. What happened in the world whenever the climate changed? The longest history is that of Egypt. Everybody is studying about the three great kingdoms of Egyptian history: the Middle Kingdom, the First Kingdom, and the Late Kingdom. But nobody is discussing what happened in between these three kingdoms. Why there are different silent phases in the Egyptian history. Some noises coming in. Yeah. The second is that if you go to the Chinese history also, you can see there are certain gaps of usually centuries where there was no empire at all. If you take India, people will talk about Indus Valley. Indus Valley is one of the greatest things in the whole history of humankind. But what happened after Indus Valley? Why there is a 1,000-year vacuum between Indus Valley and the next civilization? And if you take the present world, everybody is bothered about what is happening in Afghanistan, what is happening in Syria, Iraq, Somalia, and all these places. But is there any kind of climatic reason for all these things? If you take Syria, which caused the greatest migration in modern times, actually preceding that, there was 5 consecutive droughts in Syria in this century. If you take Somalia, there's no water availability is abysmally bad. If you take Iraq, again, Iraq was once the granary of the whole human civilization. Iraq still, with all the modern intervention, the modern Californian farmers are no match for the old Mesopotamian farmers. The kind of productivity that they had achieved in Mesopotamia regarding wheat. And those wheatlands are right now desert in Iraq. And if you take Afghanistan, which is a totally lawless country, what happened with the climate of the Afghanistan? So even all these things, we see only the political actions only on the surface. What kind of climate change caused all these nations to crumble, and who are the next candidates? things like that. So why there's a thousand millennium gap between Indus Valley and the modern Indian civilization? Why there are different gaps in this Egyptian kingdoms, in the Chinese kingdoms? Wherever you look at the Earth's history, modern human history, you can see these gaps. And if you are intelligent enough, you can correlate all these gaps into the local climate changes. So what I'm trying to tell is that whenever climate change is happening, it is not it's not a thing of floods and hurricanes. If all the things are going to happen in the current intensity and the current frequency, what we need to expect is that this kind of large-scale migration, violence, and crumbling of the kingdoms, rather the states. That's a reality which is happening around us, but we are not able to discern it, how this is happening, or we are not able to decipher it. That's my caution regarding climate change. So this photo is from the Belarusian border, just 3 years back. So I think I'm stopping here right now because I have taken a lot of time, more than 1 hour. And in this module, I'm just suggesting certain things to read and certain questions to be answered. Now it's over to you for a discussion. And if it is required, we can see the rest of the presentation at some other time. Is it okay, Raji?
രാജ് ടീച്ചർ പോയോ?
ഞാൻ നിങ്ങളുടെ സമയമായില്ലേ?
ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇവിടെ സാറ്റർഡേ നൈറ്റ് ആണ്. അപ്പൊ
it's
not too late. ഇപ്പൊ 9 ആവുന്നേ ഉള്ളൂ.
Then I'll take few more slides if you don't mind, if you are interested.
What about you, kids? അവര് പറയണ്ടേ?
I'm okay with a few more slides.
Yeah, in that case, we will just Anushka hasn't said anything. I hope that she's okay.
Yeah, I'm also okay with that.
Yeah. So I think you may be remembering the name of this child. This is one of the most haunting photograph of this century. Anybody remember the boy's name? He's a 4-year-old
I know,
boy.
Syrian kid who traveled by the boat. I forgot the name.
Refugee,
yeah.
He's of Kurdish.
ഹയാൻ അങ്ങനെ എന്തോ ആണോ? ഹയാൻ.
The spelling is Aylin. Aylan Kurdi.
Kurdi.
His parents walked from Syria to Turkey, almost 2,000 kilometer trek. From there, they tried to traverse through boat to Greece, and the boat sank in between, and the 4-year-old boy's body ended up in the coast of Turkey.
This was how many years back, if I still remember that?
4 years, just before Corona.
Okay.
No, even now it's happening. Even on yesterday, I think almost few hundred migrants lost their life in English Channel as well as in Mediterranean yesterday itself. So, this is a big topic right now in news. I'm not at all approaching this from the US presidential election, but I'm just telling it. Migrant, what does it mean actually? Why people are walking like this? You are leaving your home, relatives, friends, job, wealth, and for this millions of Syrian migrants, the media of transport was just foot, walking, and 2,000 kilometers. And what you can carry, and how the elderly, how the toddlers, how the pregnant women, how the disabled people are popping up with this. And actually, when we look deep into the Syrian crisis, it's not the politics. It is actually the change in the climate caused all these things. So is it a if you are having, see right now, sensitive topic again, you do have a lot of issues regarding Haitian immigrants in the Springfield, Ohio. Haiti is a part of an island which is known as Hispaniola. It's the name of the island, which is nobody's nowadays using. Half of Haiti, half of Hispaniola, the left half of Hispaniola is Haiti, and the right part is Dominica. Just go through your own map, the map in the phone. we can see perceptible color difference between these two halves. The Dominican Republic is green, whereas Haiti is rather barren. The same climatic zone. Why these two nations are entirely different? The people are more or less same, but how this Dominican Republic differs from Haiti? Why Haiti became a lawless place, whereas Dominican Republic is a much better place to live? So this climate change is not related. It's not simply floods and hurricanes or landslides. It's actually causing governments to disintegrate, people to migrate. That's the point I'm trying to make. So where we started, the kind of human civilization what we know right now started in Mesopotamia. Everybody knew about it. It's known as Fertile Crescent, the Euphrates Tigris Valley, and all of the things that we eat nowadays, whether it is wheat or barley or the meat, everything was domesticated in, almost everything was domesticated in fertile by this civilization almost 10,000 years ago. There are great cities. One of the cities, Ur, you can search it in the net, and they have done unparalleled engineering feats. What you are seeing in the background is the first civil code drafted by a human civilization. This is a code where Hammurabi, you might have heard about him. That's a unique script. He had written laws, civil laws, how to govern that society. And on the right side, you can see a small picture about Hammurabi giving this Unicode to one of his courtiers. All these things are archaeological history. But my question is that, what happened to them? Where are the great cities of Mesopotamia now? Why the people who had innovated all these things in the first time in the entire human history, all this domestication, big irrigation projects, first script in the whole history, everything they have, they are the true pioneers of the human civilization. But what happened to them and why it happened? That's a question that we have to address in the coming days or coming months. And if anybody can understand the location from this photograph, it is now voted as the most popular tourist site in the whole world. The second most popular is in India, that's Taj Mahal, but the first place goes to this particular city.
Ajanta Ellora.
No.
India.
It's not in India.
Oh,
It's not in India. And actually, this is me and my wife standing in front of one of the most iconic building in the whole world. I think it's known as the Treasury. Actually, there's no treasure involved, but it's known as Treasury.
Egypt. No idea.
This is Petra, Petra, Petra.
Mm-hmm.
Petra in Jordan, sit in Jordan.
Oh.
This is the city was abandoned 2,000 years back. The entire city was abandoned, and this is the people where people started. If you are very much happy in getting water out of a tap, this is the city which started tapped water supply in the entire human civilization. You can see big stadiums like that, and it's a huge city. You need at least a few days to travel to the city, but it's a ghost city. Nobody's living there. Nobody can live there right now. There's absolutely no water in that area. This is just searching the net. It's a very popular, rather the most popular tourist attraction. But my question is that why people abandoned this city after building all the fabulous cities? It's like a story, rather unbelievable story, where people taken centuries to build all these things, and they were living comfortably there. And then what happened to them? What happened to that particular city? Why people abandoned it in such a way? I'm also trying to search Indus people. Indus
Lack of
Valley,
water or access to water?
rather, it's again what we talk right now. It's climate change. And it's really it was a tough challenge to reconstruct the climate shift happened there. What I'm trying to tell you is that climate change is nothing new. It happened. It is going to happen. It will again happen. So whenever it happened, there were very extremely serious consequences for human civilization. Again, I'm going back to India. You might have heard about Indus Valley. If you want to look at the largest political union in the entire human history, it is Indus Valley, from the western Iran to the present day Bangladesh. The people were having a single language that we are pursuing, but we are sure that they do have single script, single set of weights and measures, similarly planned towns. And we are assuming that they were having just one language. Despite being one of the largest political unions in the whole history of human civilization, now they are dumb because the language is lost. We don't know what they spoke. We are still not able to decipher their script. And the kind of systems that they had built. This is, I'm going to Tholavira. That's the largest, one of the largest Indus settlements in India. I have to travel through Run of Kutch. Run of Kutch was rather earlier Indus River used to flow through this area, but now Indus changed its way. Rapar is the nearest town. From there, you'll travel to Lodrani, from there to Tholavira. This is the roadside. You need a lot of permissions because this is right on the border with Pakistan. On the either side of the road, what you are seeing is not snow, it is salt actually. When the Indus changed the course, and then the sea came inside, and because the arid climate, the salt is formed more or less naturally. And this is the layout of the Tholavira, the citadel, and you can see a stream there. And they have done every effort to manage harvest water. This they have done almost 4,000 years back. This is the reconstructed view of the Indus settlement. This is the settlement that we are seeing right now. Sorry, it's jumped a bit in between. This is the present day view. There were around 14 large reservoirs built into this citadel. So they were capturing 100% rainfall, plus they were diverting the nearby stream into the town. These were the drains built by them. Whatever you are seeing is 4,000 plus years old. This is the kind of tanks, reservoirs they had built, cascading reservoirs, 14 of them. And these were the wells. The open well was invented by the Indus people. The open well just at the downside of all these reservoirs from where people can draw water. And there were stadiums which can sit up to 10,000 persons in this particular citadel. And despite all this is the top layer where human remains are still scattered because the last generation of the people, they even didn't get a decent burial. And this is the entrance of the city gate. So I think I have if you take the water harvesting or climate sensitive people, this particular city is, as far as I knew, the most sensitive to all these things. They were tried their best to capture water, to manage the local climate, and despite whatever they have done, they are left without a word. They even didn't get a decent burial. That is the story of Indus Valley civilization in just 5 slides. They are dumb also. We are still not able to read this script. So whoever is interested in maths, this is a big challenge still left in the whole world to decode, decipher this particular in the script. So I think we can go back to the discussion right now, because I have told about a lot of things. I would like to hear more questions or your feelings regarding all these things. The next part is Kerala. Actually, not the students may not be that much interested regarding Kerala. Smita, Raji's not. I don't know whether she's right now in this group or not.
Maybe she moved away from the computer.
Yeah. So I think, and again, if you are just one more slide for the children to take this forward. So all the climate is based on thermodynamics. It's basically physics. It is basically how the earth is absorbing sun's heat. That's the basic question. And how it is distributed across the earth. The most important thing is black and white. You may not be aware about what President Obama suggested almost 10 years back regarding climate. One of his suggestions was to paint white of all of the roofs of buildings in US, because it will make a big change. You know from the physics is that all of the black things will absorb heat much more efficient, and they will also release heat quickly, whereas white will reflect the heat back to the atmosphere. So if you take the Earth's atmosphere, wherever we are having white color, it's very much important. And white is naturally occurring at very few places. One of the sure places, ice sheets. So the ice sheets especially in Greenland, is very much critical because of their white color. They are reflecting back most of the heat back to the atmosphere. So the color of black and white, how it is impacting the white itself is how it's impacting the Earth's climate. Then whenever the sun's heat is coming up, it is heating up the earth, heating up the water. So whenever you heat up the atmosphere, the winds will form. Whenever you heat the water, ocean currents will form. Ocean currents are depending upon the temperature of the ocean surface. Then heat will also cause evaporation. And then there are two tricky things. That is one is known as latent heat of ice. And also what will happen if you put hot water into ice and ice water into ice, which will freeze first? Why they are behaving like this? So these are the questions for the next month. How this thermodynamics, the sun's heat is affecting our Earth's atmosphere, as well as the kind of climate that we know is how it is being controlled by sun's heat. Smita, you are the person now to rather conclude this. Shall I stop the presentation now? Stop sharing my desktop?
Yeah. If its time is up, yes, you can close that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we will have a lot of questions and doubts. I would like to hear it, because there's no point that I'm going through like this. I'm not at all negative regarding that, but I would like to hear from you.
Yeah, and for me, great information, and it's a lot to process. So I will try to look into some of the books and website you suggested. But for our children who are on project, and they can go ahead with their own exploring the subject you ask them to do. And so it's like a thermodynamics regarding the colors, right? How the colors affect. Yeah, and for like a small example, I had a gray car, and so we had to total that car and got another one. So I always wanted a white car, and I see the difference when you touch the car. Even on a hot day, I see the difference. So regarding the absorption and reflection of the heat. Yeah. And in summer days, we see more people wearing white. So those things are very evident, very easy to understand or experience. So other than that, I don't know. Maybe I can look into that. And let's see what children have to say.
The others, are they still around?
Yeah, I see 7 participants, so definitely they are
Yeah,
around.
Yeah, I am in and out. Yeah, I just came back.
Mhm.
that we got. You were in and out.
So Anushka is there, Arav is there. Anyway, the recording is there. Now we can stop. Are we done? Are we done the presentation?
Yeah, we stop. We are done with the slides, and he gave a work to do about thermodynamics.
Okay.
Thermodynamics, as well as just go back and search all this. Whatever I have, just triangulate what I have already said, what I already described.
Okay.
So, sir, regarding the Indus Valley, so
Yeah.
it is so the river, it was close to the river, and the river is still there. It exists, right? So, was it a reason might be flooding instead of a drought? It might be flooding.
No, in the Indus actually, there were one river which is known, which was known as Saraswati, which was part of Indus, which was totally dried up. It's no
Oh.
more there.